it's only cold soaking. It's not as hard as you think.
Hi, welcome back to Our World Outdoors. Today we are talking about cold soaking backpacking mills.
Now this doesn't have to be hard. People make this way too hard. They talk about things not working and all this stuff. It's pretty simple if you know the basics. We're going to bring you 3 of our favorite ones today, and we will elaborate on more in another video in the future. But we just want to touch on the 3 that we kind of run with that are the easiest for us. Okay, so the 3 we're going to be talking about today is couscous, which is like $1 or $1.50 for this box. Way cheaper if you buy it in bulk. The next thing is one of our favorites, the dehydrated buffalo chicken. Now, a lot of backpackers have their own recipes for this. This is like a staple. We always have a bag of this in our freezer. It's really easy to do. Don't let it overwhelm you. And the third, it doesn't get much simpler than dehydrated spaghetti. Alright? So basically we dehydrate our own spaghetti, have in bags like this, and we do a lot of cold soaking with spaghetti. A lot. So our kind of choice is a peanut butter jar. Now you have to watch yourself because as you can see here, you can get it too hot, especially if you're using a canister stove or over a fire. You really don't want to boil the water per se, like rolling boil, just a light rolling boil, and then put it in there if you're trying to hot do it. We're doing it cold. So cold soaking, you essentially put the food in there, you put the water in there, and do this. Now, if we were continuing to hike, I would probably put this in there about 30 minutes before we're going to stop, put it in my pack, and as I walk, it's going to shake it for me. Now with couscous, the thing you got to understand is it soaks up a ton of water. And I mean a ton. But essentially, if you're using room temperature water, which is what most people carry, it's only going to take about 10 minutes at most to be ready. Now if you just filtered this out of stream, it's going to be cold. So it's going to take double as long. You need to understand that about all these. A lot of people have a lot of problem with cold soak because they filter right out of a stream, throw it in there, and in 15-20 minutes it's not done. Well, that's because your water's super cold. All right, it's not going to soften down the noodles or potato flakes or any of these others. So another trick with the couscous is generally it takes more water than you think because anything with noodles is like that. The spaghetti is also the same. So the spaghetti, you're always going to have to put more water in than you think you're going to need, and then you can pour it off if it ends up being too much. Now you do have to kind of watch yourself on the dehydrated chicken because it can be tricky. You may think you got plenty of water, you may think you don't have enough. Generally speaking, you can pour off if you need to, but we usually put this in something else anyway, so the water is usually not an issue. Now we do eat it straight like this. We did that at Archer's Fork. You know, we'd gotten into camp, we were hiking in after dark. It was just a long night. We had a baggie full of this. We just threw some water in. I mushed it up in my hand and we started eating it instantly. The water was already room temperature, so it just basically rehydrates instantly.
And we did the spaghetti on our Virginia Beach trip.
Yep, sitting in the tent because we didn't want to cook. We didn't want to deal with it. But I think that we need just a little more water in this couscous. But another trick we've started doing.
How is your professional checking there? Stick your finger in it?
Yeah, I stuck my finger in it. That's how you professionally check it. But this is another trick we've been doing because another problem people have when they cold soak is the bottom gets done, but the top is still dry and crunchy and they can't figure it out. Turn your jar over. Let the moisture all flow down and soak up this stuff at the bottom. But it's pretty simple. Like right now, that's getting real close to being done. That'll take a little longer. And it's probably ready to do some of that. And the other nice thing is if you take extra, because this, if I make this too watery, it's as simple as taking some of that powder out of the bottom, throwing it in and stirring it up, and it's done. Another way you can increase the speed is by stirring slightly. But that said, like I told you guys, this stuff does not take long to hydrate. Alright? That's kind of a big bite, sorry. That's done. It's hot. But it's done. You better go lay down. You're not getting any.
Chair.
Get in the chair. Okay. Now I believe our couscous is done. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit much. Sorry. It probably could have used another 3 minutes, if that. It's super close. And it's mixed really well, honestly. And that roasted olive oil, what is it? Roasted garlic and olive oil. That's good. But yeah, it's done. It's more than done enough for trail, but
oh yeah.
If you're picky and you like it when it's like, it's kind of like taking your North Sides to the extra limit or your Mountain House noodles to where they're absolutely perfect. That's the difference of this being done or not. And you see we're only here for a few minutes. Now that's probably going to take another minute or two.
Spaghetti takes the longest.
Out of all of them, spaghetti always takes the longest.
But we use this a lot of times for our lunch on the trail.
Yep.
So we generally get it ready as we're leaving camp or shortly thereafter, and then we just let it sit in our pack until we get to where we want to have lunch.
So let's give it the fair amount of correct time. Because like I said, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes usually. So we'll be back with you here in about 10 minutes. We'll come back and check and see how it's doing. Alright, so we're back. It's been about, I don't know, 9 minutes, 10 minutes. We could let it go longer, but as you can see, it's already turned it back into a sauce, a thick sauce at that. I like to tell people that if you completely rehydrate this and let it go right, it will taste like spaghetti from the night before. Like it's been in the fridge overnight and then you reheat it. That's what this tastes like exactly to me. So, you can see that noodle and how it wiggles. That's because it's not hard. It probably could have gone 2 or 3 more minutes, maybe 4. But to be fair, normally we fill this thing up to about here with spaghetti, and then we fill it up with water, and we go hike for 20 or 30 minutes. But you guys need to understand, cold soaking doesn't have to be hard. And it shouldn't be hard. And there's a ton of foods, whether you make them yourself or whether you buy them, that you can do it with. If you're doing it overnight in the summer and you're trying to cut weight because you're trying to do miles, or you just want to see how light you can go, you want to go try it once. These are simple foods that you can take and cold soak. Or maybe you don't want to stop for lunch because you want to have more time at camp in the evening to hang out. You know, in the winter, cold soaking these is nice because I'm trying to get to camp and get a fire started. I mean, that's just as simple as that. I got only so much light, you know, during the day. I want to get to camp and get it done. So if I got a high mileage day, when we stop to go to the bathroom or something, Missy will take care of loading these up, and we'll just stick them in our packs, and they'll be ready to go about halfway down the trail. So,
or if you've had a long day and a lot of miles, and you just really don't want to mess with cooking once you get to camp, throw some water in your container that you've already got packed and ready to go half an hour before you get there. set up your tent and have your food ready to go.
Yep. You just crawl into your tent. You can eat it right in your tent if you have to. But as a final bonus, if you take and put your buffalo chicken in your couscous or in your ramen, this stuff in ramen's the bomb, but I'm going to put it in couscous. You don't have to just be limited to just one thing. It all cold soaks together. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I can't put that into words enough for people. They think that it's limited to, if you change the formulation, it's going to mess it up. And I promise you it won't. It just adds the flavor. So, probably would have been better with plain couscous.
I don't think so.
Because it killed the garlic, and that garlic was really good, honestly. I mean, this is good, don't get me wrong. I'm going to sit here and eat it, but it really comes down to, though, find the flavors you like and enjoy it. Backpacking food shouldn't be crappy. It should be good. It's your one chance that you can really have an excuse to eat really bad stuff for you.
No doubt.
So enjoy it. You know, even if it's cold soaking, enjoy it. Find the flavors you like.
And we're not saying that we go out and we cold soak everything.
Mm-mm.
Or that we do it every time.
Nope.
There's time and a place for it, and there's time and a place to take the time to cook a meal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We're just saying there's options.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be something that scares you. It's super simple. And we're going to bring you...
That buffalo chicken is really hot
I
tonight.
know it is. And we'll be bringing you a whole list of other ones that you can try. And, you know, we'll have it laid out to where you can have store-bought items, to where you can have other things. But just don't let it scare you. Don't be afraid to go try this, because you may really, really enjoy cold soaking. Some people I know love cold soaking their foods. So, until next time, I'm Tony.
I'm Missy. And you're Sharon.
Mine.
See you up the trail.